Bonjour, my name is Juliana. I am a conceptual artist from New York. The work I am concentrating on now is this specific time in history during the French Revolution. Women were banned from having pockets. And one of the reasons was because they were thought to maybe be carrying weapons or poisons, things for their partners to use against the enemy. Which, when you look at the statistics on that, is ridiculous. Because most violent crimes occur for like over 98% are inflicted by men. But statistics aside, the idea that a woman could be harboring something really dangerous when at that point it was frowned upon to even leave the house is just such a great, I don't want to use example because it's not that extreme anymore, but that is why we should be thinking about feminism, because it's just ridiculous. I was really thinking about when my feminist ideas started, because being a conceptual artist, most of my work deals with the underlying small tactics of sexism in culture and how that affects us, all these small little annoyances that just build up and are really frustrating and maybe not as glaringly obvious to men. Really, when I think about it, the first time I understood maybe not feminism, but sexism was I was really pretty young. I was in middle school and on a track bus, and I was touched inappropriately by another student, and I remember telling my mom, and she went ballistic and she got really upset and she yelled at the boy and talked to the principal. And I remember I hadn't really seen that anger from her before, and it surprised me because it really validated my feelings, where other people that I told weren't taking it seriously. And in fact, after that, I think I thought about feminism at a young age, because I remember a few days later, even the principal, because this became a kind of a big deal in my grade, and he was high-fiving the students in my grade and the grade of the boy who had done this and saying, "Not guilty," in the hallways, and I could see it happening. And I just remember having this feeling of like, how could this be happening? That why, like, I just was so confused. Why would I lie about something like this? Yeah, the only word I can think of is betrayal, and it was a terrible feeling. And from that point on, I really took note when people didn't believe me without any justification or reasoning, like things that I would complain about, teachers saying inappropriate things or doing inappropriate things, and being told that maybe I didn't hear something correctly, or just writing it off. And just, this felt like a fairly common thing, and I thought maybe this is just a North Country thing, because the gender roles outside of a city, I don't want to generalize, but could maybe be more traditional, which is a terrible word, but the term mansplaining became popular for a reason, and I think that there just needs to be more listening in general. We can't create empathy without hearing other people's experiences and trying to understand them, even if they are completely foreign to us. We all have our own backgrounds and our own feelings, and one person's pain isn't going to be the same as another's. And of course, my hurt isn't going to be the same type of hurt as somebody else's because of everything that we go through. So I think the best way for men to be feminists is to learn empathy through really just listening. And you can try to understand as much as you can. I know that a lot of it will be limited because of the physical body, but listening is such a big part of it. And even if you don't understand, just feeling like you have a voice and you're being heard is, to me, the most important, I think. The only other experience that I had that was strictly female most driven was at a retreat that I went to in Costa Rica, and they had a tent that was specifically about menstruation, which when I first went, I was like, I'll give this a try, but it's just so foreign to me. And I was thinking, I don't want to use the word cheesy, but I guess I'm going to, because that was my feeling at the time, because I wasn't exposed to this type of thing. But I had the most amazing experience there, and we all opened up so much because we all were going through the same physical and emotional pains, and it was a really nurturing experience, and that really started changing my outlook on how I wanted to express myself and make it known that you can have this type of a group and share these experiences. It's not taboo if half of the world is feeling the same thing. How can women feel like they are in a safe space to talk about their experiences or to share their feelings when they're scared of the term feminism because it has been given such a stigma? Personally, I feel like the idea of feminism is equal voices for women. I realize that is specific, but if we cast aside the idea of gender and gender norms, I would assume that feminism would be an open idea to be completely inclusive and equal rights for everyone, no matter how you identify, and is that identity that important? It wasn't that long ago that people were so concerned with who you were sleeping with, and it seems to become, at least in larger cities, less of a concern and less of a care, because people are realizing it doesn't hurt anyone, it doesn't affect anyone, and it should be the same for gender. Starting with just people who are born with female organs and female sex and trying to get equal rights for this specific type of person seems to go against what I think is the main issue of feminism, which is inclusivity for everybody.